hat, head. This is Johnny's book. Sir, are you a virgin? And I haven't even got to read the back blurb, but I want to read the book just on the title alone. It's a great title. Johnny is a secondary school teacher. A secondary school science teacher from County Down. He's used to talking in front of large groups of people, but this evening hopes to enjoy the novel experience of being listened to for the first time. So listen up. His story is called Alone on the Throne. Johnny, come on here.
I would be quite nervous about standing in front of other people, but I actually dread being alone on the throne. Perched on a porcelain throne, bleached pearly white, as if from the thousand suns since the day of her birth, the goddess relaxed. She loved to portion the time of each day to allow herself to share in the stillness of this sacred place. Calmed by the fragrance of lavender incense perfuming her holiest of holies, deep in her bowels the goddess knew the time had almost come. Then she heard it. The goddess had always assumed absolute silence when she made her daily offerings. Now, on this blessed occasion, she perceived a distinct trickling that evoked memories of an ancient tale. Family legend supposed that long before she was born, wise men demanding untold riches would, when failing to locate the source of the eternal river of Sis, turn humbly to her ancestors while kneeling before this very throne. Each and every one would then acknowledge that even if they plumbed the depths of their own souls, they could never find it. For as long as could be remembered, these prophets piously proclaimed that the river would forever flow with or without their tinkering. The goddess now knew that to do this particular job, she had to faithfully accept this would always be so. For several moments, eyes squeezed shut, lips barely moving, the goddess seemed peacefully at prayer. Sensing this was now the time for her to intercede directly with the river itself, inwardly she stirred, and the goddess was instantly relieved of all that was within. For a moment she was wholly at peace. Then all too soon the shadows of past sacrifices ebbed into her consciousness. She recollected that to finish her business, there was one more duty to fulfill, one last unholy crusade she could entrust only to the loyalest of her citizens. Upon opening her eyes, the goddess presumed to find the first page of Andrex waiting at her right hand as countless times before. But no, nothing. An empty scroll lay discarded on the floor. Darting here, there, everywhere at once, the goddess's racing eyes eventually slowed to a stare after a futile search for that which was not there. Treason. Treachery. Had her own people turned against her? Her own family? Maybe her parents had been such fools that even if noticing the loyal citizens of Andrex dwindling in number, a few less day after day, they had failed to act. Where were her parents now? In this hour of her greatest need, had even they too forsaken her? Maybe they were attempting to demonstrate that she was not yet ready. Not for the first time they would try to prove they still reigned in this household by stripping her of her robes and manhandling her into submission. Or, as when they didn't want to do their own dirty work, they would pass her off to some cooing, aged imbecile who would recite the age-old blasphemy. Sure, I've seen it all before. Didn't anyone comprehend the power she possessed? Didn't they realise she would gladly consume them one and all with sulphurous gases? Afterwards, she would grasp her wand of death, permanently stored within reach of where she now sat, and use it to scrub the crud left by these little shits off the face of her alabaster kingdom after she flushed them forever into the underworld. Looking heavenward, the goddess caught a glimpse of a reflection in the mirrored cabinet nearby, within which was stored the sacred balms of purification and her family's ancient relics for cleansing. During this moment, as she gazed through the windows of her own soul, she made a resolution to rule and not be ruled. She was a child no more. She was a goddess. Never would she lose her dignity again. Now the goddess believed with all her soul that when she called, they would obey. And so edging forward to the rim of her throne, raising her head, her shoulders, even her knees and toes, she... She drew breath, then screamed, her great anger and desperate resentment raining down on all her minions far, far below. Can anybody hear me? Silence. No response. Fuming, the goddess filled her lungs again, ready to unleash her boundless vengeance upon them when they came into her presence. She made her final furious demand. Mum! Dad! Bring some toilet roll upstairs! I need to wipe my bum!